Hey guys, welcome back to Music Evolve's how-to series on O Tannenbaum, O Christmas Tree. Today we're going to be talking about the melody guitar part. Now, I'm not going to go into all the different auxiliary harmony guitar parts and lead guitar parts. I'll save that for another video down the line because I wanted to make sure that I could get this melody guitar part out to you in a quicker time. I'm also going to be doing this with a few other of my Christmas arrangements so that I only go over the rhythm guitar parts and the melody guitar parts and kind of just save all those extra cool little complicated guitar parts for later. Now without further ado, let's jump into the verse guitar parts for the melody guitar. Now this song is in C major, as many of the other Christmas arrangements are, which makes it a lot simpler to teach when there's not going to be any accidentals in the key of C and maybe just a few accidentals when we use a borrowed chord or something like that. Now, being that we're in the key of C, we're going to be in the third position, playing C on the A string on the third fret. Learn that if you don't know it already. Just a one octave scale for C major. Or you could learn the G mixolydian, which is the relative of it, being that we will be using the G below the C. So you could think about it as the G mixolydian, or you could think about it as C. Anyhow, let's get going. So this song starts with that low G I just mentioned, moving up directly to the tonic, which is C. So it goes G on the third fret of the low E, to C, the third fret of the A. Oh, Christmas tree. And the next part will be the fifth fret of the A string, which is D, the second fret of the D string, which is E, now the next part goes, seems kind of complicated, but it's not. We go E, back down to that D, back up to that E again, then the F, which is right above that E, the third fret of the D string, before jumping down a tritone to that B on the second fret of the A string, then back to the D again, and then C. So the frets would be 3 on the low E, 3 on the A, 5 on the A, 2 on the D, 5 on the A, 2 on the D, 3 on the D, 2 on the A, 5 on the A, 3 on the A. You can do hammer-ons or slides or pull-offs, any way you want to kind of ornament that melody. I do it in different ways just to kind of get different tones out of it, but the gist of it is the same. And you can make it sound a little more exciting by adding what you want. So it does that 2 times in a row. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, right? Now, the next part, you can consider the chorus if you want, or just the B section of the song, where it kind of starts up a little higher. It starts on the dominant, which is that G. This G is the 5th fret of the D string. And we jump down to that E, the 2nd fret of the D. 2nd fret of the G, which is that A. Back down to the G. Going down to the F, 3rd fret on the D. Staying on the F. Getting that D again, the 5th fret of the A string, jumping up to the G above it, on the 5th fret of the D string, and going to F, F, E, E. I'll play that one more time. 5 on the D string, 5, 5, 2, 2 on the G string, back to the D string, 5, 5, 3, 3. Staying there, 3, 3, 5 on the A string, 5 on the D string, 3, 3, 2, 2. Then we go back to the first melody we learned. And that's pretty much the melody for O Tannenbaum or O Christmas Tree. It just follows that A, B, A, or if you want to say verse, verse, chorus, verse. And you can repeat them in any different ways you want. What I did on my arrangement is I created a brand new section that would kind of break up that repetitive nature of A, B, A, B, A. So I'd go A, B, A, and then I'd have original material that I wrote, and then I would do it again, original material. I talked more about this in the rhythm guitar part. If you haven't checked that one out, I suggest clicking on the link in the description and watching that, because that will definitely help with this. During that original part that I created, I used a few chords that are out of key, so you can't just play C melodic material over it. You kind of have to be a little experienced, or at least a little smart with the notes you choose and when you choose them. I want to talk about a little bit about that, but I don't want to go into too in-depth about that. I'll save that for later. So that section begins on an F major 7. So during that part, just think you're playing in F major. You could play an F Lydian if you want to be brave, but I suggest just sticking to a typical major scale, F. So it goes from F major 7 to F minor 7. So when it switches, go from F major to F minor. Then it goes to a C major 7. So just play C major during that time, C major scale. And then it goes to an A minor 7, which you can play in A minor, D minor 7, playing D minor, and now here's the other tricky one. I play an A flat 7. So during that time, you can play an A flat Mixolydian mode, or the relative major of that, which would be D flat major, before getting to the G7, G13 part, which you could just play in the standard key variant C major, or playing the relative G Mixolydian. And that covers that new section. I didn't want to go too much over it, showing you exactly what I did, but that's just kind of a simplified way of looking at it, of what some people refer to as chord scale theory, playing a mode over the relative chord at that time. It makes it a lot easier. Most of it's in C, so playing in C you'll be able to get away with just about over all those chords. The only two you'll have to watch out for if you can't switch that easily or quickly is the F minor chord. When it borrows that F minor right after the F major, you'll have to accommodate for that. And then also when it hits that quick A flat 7 chord before getting to the G7 chord. So you'll have to accommodate for both of those. So that's it for the melody on the lower octave. Now in this song I take it up the octave, and then I also take it up a third octave with additional harmonies for each part, to of course break up the monotony of the song. So for the first verse, I play it up there. Then for the second verse, after we do that original material turnaround bridge part, and I bring the lower melody, the normal one we just learned, and I bring it up the octave. So I'm going to cover that. So we find that G up the octave right there on the A string, the 10th fret of the A string, that is G. So we can pretty much almost copy this exact same shape. The only difference is we have to accommodate for that B. Once we get there, I'll tell you what I mean. So we'll start on that G on the 10th fret of the A. There's the C, which is the 10th fret of the D string. 12th fret of the D to get D. And then 9th fret of the G to get E. And we'll just go back like we did up over there, where we go E, D, E, F, which will be the 10th fret of the G string, to get that B, the 9th fret of the D string, D, C again. Then we repeat. And then we go to that B section, or that chorus section, where we start high on that G. So we would just play that on the 12th fret of the G string to get that G. So we would go 12, 12, 9 to get that E once again. Now that's the part we got to accommodate for. Now we have to play on the B string, so we have to accommodate up 1 fret. So that's the 10th fret of the B string to get that A. Back to the G, and then the F on the 10th fret, and then we stay there, getting the D down there, back up to the G, F, F, E, E. And then we play the normal melody again. Now with that second verse, there's actually a harmony, but once again, I'll go over those in a different video where I cover the harmonies and the lead and any auxiliary guitar parts. Now the third verse goes up an additional octave and adds 1 more harmony, so there's actually 3 guitars playing in the third verse. The first verse has just the 1 down the octave, the second verse goes up the octave with a harmony guitar, and then the third verse once again goes an additional octave up with the other 2 guitars playing harmony to that, so during that part's a 3-part harmony. So I will cover that third verse now. The G we're going to find on the 12th fret of the G string, of course, which is G. Now we have to compensate for that B string, so it's going to be on the 13th fret. Slide to the 15th, then the 12th of the E, back down to the D, up to the 13th, which is F. Then we get the B on the 12th fret of the B string, 15, 13. And we just do it again. Now we do the chorus section, which starts on that high G, which is the 15th fret of the high E string. And we can get that E right here on the 17th fret of the B string, or you can slide down here to the 12th fret, whichever is easier for you. That way or this way. Either way is fine. And then we go back to the G, and then the F. Stay on that F and go F, F, D, G, F, F, E, E. Then back to the verse. And that's pretty much where the song ends. There's this really cool, tricky counterpoint thing I do with those 3 different guitars, just to give them all their own kind of exit. They create this very interesting movement as they all move in different directions and fall on different really pretty parts of the chord, like the 13th or the 7th or the 9th or the 3rd or whatever they land on. And it's very beautiful, but once again, that's kind of the auxiliary part that I'll go over in a different video. You can just end on the C, which will be just fine, or the E, or even the G. Any of those triad type chords. Being that the song ends on a C major 13th type chord, you really have a ton of options. Just like I said in Jingle Bells, you can end on those triadic type notes like the C, E, or G, or you could end on the kind of more prettier extensions like the 7th, the 9th, or the 13th. And that's all for the melody guitar parts. Now, like I mentioned, I'll go over those other auxiliary guitar parts and harmonies and even the guitar solo that I added in the middle of it in another video. But for now, that's all you really need to know for all the melody guitar parts. And of course, with the other video, that's all the rhythm guitar parts. So with those 2, you'd have the chords and the melodies to perform the songs yourselves or make your own arrangements from it. Anyhow, I'll see you guys next time.